All right, and welcome to the first episode of the 2024 college football season, the Fanatics college football. How do we have it worded? The college football talk show or the It's the Fanatics, because we're all fanatics, right?
Correct.
All
Of
right,
course.
the Fanatics college football show. Sorry. All right. At any rate, we're gonna go ahead and move forward. We got four panelists here today. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce them, and then we're gonna do a quick around the horn. We're all gonna have something spicy we got to say. Of course, I'm Corey Adair here with Pace Meyer, VFC, and Action Junkie. Pace, we'll go ahead and start it off with you.
My hot take, Corey, is USC is going to be good. I know you were dogging USC. I know VFC shaking his head. You were dogging VFC in the in the pregame here, but my hot take is USC. Got that coordinator, D coordinator from UCLA. I think they're going to be really good. So I think USC is back. Texas not back. USC fully back.
It's not that I think they're going to be that bad. It's just they have such a hard schedule that doesn't favor them at all. I feel like, um, I see
Yeah,
that
we
they're
yeah we
7-5, 8-4.
Yeah, Corey was talking about that too, just like
Oh,
their schedule. But hey, I think wild stuff is going to happen this year. I think it's going to be like this is a year you're going to look back in like 10, 15 years. Going to be like, remember 2024? Like shit went down. So I think it's just going to
All
be a
right,
wild year.
I'm
So
in.
all right,
what do you got, VFC?
I'm going to go at Penn State. I think Penn State is not going to be very good. I think I'm looking at, and when I say not very good, they're going to go 8-4 is my hot take. I think their Vegas win totals at 10. I think Drew Aller finishes in the bottom half when we're looking at QB rankings in the Big Ten this year. I just think he's going to struggle. I think Penn State is getting way too much hype, and whenever Penn State gets way too much hype, they completely underdeliver. So that's my hot take.
Yeah, I've been hoping that. I've been saying that every year, and it seems like they only lose to Michigan, only lose to Ohio State, beat everybody else, and I look like an idiot every time I say it. But I'm right there with you. I love seeing Penn State suck, so
That
I'm
would be
all for
fantastic.
it. What do we got for 2024 on your end, Action?
Well, last year I added onto the house cash and all those tickets on Texas. This year I'm going to go back to another team from the past. That's the U. The ACC is so bad. Miami's going to be playing football games in January.
I love this. I love this. We'll get deeper into this, but I adore this.
okay, all right.
Great take.
Oh yeah, I got a feeling that this is going to come up when we get into the conference previews. Absolutely. So my hot take here. Good thing Pace is wearing that hat because their week one opponent. I do believe that this year Deion Sanders doesn't make it to the end of the season as the head coach of the Colorado Buffalo.
That's a
Wow.
take.
I
Wow.
That is a take.
I think North Dakota State takes it to them. I don't know if they're going to win that, but I think that they're going to really struggle this year. Shador's gone at the end of the year, and he might even announce that before the season ends. Like the wheels fell off at the end of last year. Much of the same. I don't believe Dion when he says he's going to stick around after Shador. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if that ends the season early.
Two things. I picked Stanford over Colorado. I hope no one forgets that. Like plus 350. That was sweet.
Insane game. One of the best games
Insane.
ever.
Amazing game. So fun. And Corey, so where does Dion go then?
Nowhere.
Oh, okay. He's
I
done?
just
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
I don't. I think he's the only reason he's coaching is to coach his kids. I've felt that way since Jackson.
He's the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh,
Shut up,
that's
PG.
also a take.
Shut up, PG. I don't know. Like Colorado, I feel like last year, no matter what, they're going to be fun to watch. I'll say that. Win or lose, they're fun. I kind of like. I feel like they made the improvements where they needed to. That offensive line is bolstered up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if on paper at least, if the trenches turn out the way they turned out last year, there's just no way. They're just not. I don't know. They're not. They're not good enough in the trenches. They're not going to be good. Simple as that. But I'm excited to see Dallin Hayden there as well.
I I just know that there's a few teams in this Big 12 conference licking their chops waiting for Colorado again. I know when they go to, I don't know if they have to play at Manhattan or if Kansas State comes to Boulder, that's worth noting. But that is a game where Kansas State and that team is going to be just waiting for an opportunity to
In Boulder.
It's in Boulder. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. They
Honestly,
actually get a lot of their harder games at home. Utah at home, Oklahoma State at home, Kansas State at
Nebraska.
home. Isn't Nebraska in Lincoln?
at
Oh,
night.
is it? Is it okay?
Yeah. They do have to go to Arizona, Kansas, Colorado State even. But which they're not that good, but we remember that game from last year. So another insane game. They're going to be fun. I enjoy watching them win or lose. They seem to put on a crazy game always.
It's like must-watch TV, you know?
There's drama for sure.
I just think there was a list, a section of names of those schools that you just said, VFC, that are playing physical style football. They hang their hat on playing physical style football, and I think that that's where you're going to see Colorado suffer, personally.
And starts week 1.
Starts week 1.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I got a trivia question for us. While we're going through and thinking about the trivia question, we'll do an ad read, and then I'll let you guys go. I can promise you this: everybody's at least going to get 50% of it right. I'm pretty sure about that.
Do you know who you're talking to, Corey?
Oh, this one, I feel confident.
Yeah. All right. Better Edge is a social betting marketplace that is legal in 45 states that operates like a marketplace. For example, let's use Florida State, Georgia Tech. I think that's coming up right this weekend. One person on the platform takes Florida State money line, places an order of $10 for that line. Another person on the platform likes Georgia Tech, the opposite side on the money line, and places an order of $10 on that line. Then at Better Edge, you get to exchange, and the winner gets the funds based on the line. So again, I love the juice, and a lot of the sports books do as well on spreads and over-unders, but Better Edge uses the lines that are minus 100 or plus 100. So again, taking the juice out of it in all the sports that they have on their platform. And they have all the stuff like battle royales, survivors, chaser competitions, and it's a great place to be now that football is basically here in a handful of days. So go to their website, www.betteredge.com, or use the promo code Kyle, Corey, or Play Me, all in caps, to get $20 added to your account. Trivia time, Corey. Let's go.
All right, let's do this. So, in honor of the 4 new teams being added to the Big Ten, we all enjoy the Big Ten in this podcast. So, in honor of that, all 4 of those teams hang their hats on high flying offenses in general, right? They like to chuck it around the yard. There were 2 wide receivers in the Big Ten last year that had 3 touchdowns of 50 yards or more. There was only 2 of them. Can any of you name those 2 wide receivers? I'll give you guys a few seconds here. Again, there was 2 wide receivers in the Big Ten last year that had 3 touchdowns of 50 or more yards.
Real?
3 touchdown catches of 50 or more yards. Remember, this is last year's Big Ten, not this year's Big Ten.
That's why I looked at my notes and I'm like, oh, I should have something here. And all my notes are just about the new Big Ten teams. So
all right, we'll go ahead and we'll go around and see if you got it. You got anybody, Pace?
no, I mean, I am, again, the worst at trivia. Everybody knows that here. But does one of them play for Wisconsin?
No.
Okay. That's the only thing I had. So
You're not even going to give names?
Oh,
no,
yeah,
I don't know.
Here, yeah.
I don't know anyone.
I'll do that. One of them played for.
No. Don't do the schools.
No.
Don't do the schools. I wasn't saying that. I was just saying, is Pace isn't gonna throw out a guess? Wow,
dude, I don't know. Marvin Harrison, I don't know.
So that's what I was gonna say. Marvin Harrison potentially. I feel like he's not like that guy always. Like Buka, I feel like can be more of that guy. But I'll go Marvin Harrison and Roman Wilson. I want to say there's maybe someone from Penn State, but I guess I'll go Roman Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr. Those are mine.
I have absolutely no guess.
Okay. Usually we get a little bit more time to think about it, so I don't blame you guys. Marvin Harrison Jr. was one of them. That was the one that, first round pick, top tier wide receiver at everything. I thought that one was kind of the one that people get. Jalen Lloyd at Nebraska is the other one. Obviously, if I get to do a trivia question, it's
Yeah.
gonna have to have a Nebraska player.
I was wondering,
Dude, dumb. You should have known that. Yeah.
but I could not have named Jalen Lloyd gun to my head. So
No,
Right.
I didn't think so. I have put a couple pictures in a couple of the group chats of him winning the Heisman in college football 25.
Gotcha.
So there's that. But I didn't expect anybody to get that part. I was just hoping for the Marvin Harrison Jr. because I thought that was a fun question. Now we should have a few. Tez Johnson should absolutely get some touchdown catches of 50 yards or more this year. So I think that's going to be a completely different ball game come this year with the new Big Ten. Speaking of the new Big Ten, there are a few guys in this new Big Ten that are way up there in the Heisman odds. The first thing we're going to talk about today is Heisman odds. We're going to give out, somebody that we think is either going to be a long shot or dark horse, and why we like that person, and then we're going to go ahead and give out somebody that we think is probably going to win. So, if we had to make a bet, if we wanted to make a bet, we'll give that play, and then we'll just give one for fun, one that we think has a long shot that's worth the value at least. On this, I'll go ahead and toss around the other direction. I'll start off with action.
Heisman is definitely not my thing. You couldn't pay me to bet on it, but if you gave me free money, right now I think Georgia's going to win the national championship. So taking the quarterback from Georgia is, not a bad play for me. So Carson Beck would be there. I am very intrigued to see what Will Howard is going to do at Ohio State. Think he has the sixth best odds. Once again, Chris Kleiman coaches him up at K-State. You got a bunch of 3-star kids. All of a sudden, Howard's going to where he's got 5 stars galore. I think he could have a monster year. And I think the Ohio State, if they win that game at Oregon, once again, he'll be in a great position to get the Heisman.
Yeah, and just to throw it out there, Carson Beck is plus 800 and Will Howard is plus 1,500. So, those are good payouts regardless. And there was something, too, that I wanted to throw on there with the Will Howard comment. I don't know if anybody saw, but he had made comments about how he felt like at Kansas State, he had to make every play. He basically had to be kind of like Superman, where if he didn't make a play, nothing was going to happen. And how much different it feels playing at Ohio State with all the players around him. I think that kind of speaks to what you're talking about right there.
Yeah, he has some weapons now.
That receiving core is just disgusting. I think people kind of assume, oh, Marvin's gone, whatever. Ohio State kept almost like literally everyone that they could keep, they kept basically outside of Marv. And they're just so good. Watch out for Jeremiah Smith. That kid is going to be, he's going to be insane. Think Chris Olave's freshman year. Think Marvin's freshman year. Think Garrett Wilson's freshman year. That's who you're looking at, potentially better. JSN, potentially better. So I'm stoked about what Will Howard can do here. And those running backs, best running back room in the country too. Disgusting.
No Noah Rogers, though. VFC, come on now.
No, I think he makes some pretty good points. For the last 3 years running now, it's been that same story with Ohio State. They have somebody that goes top tier in the draft, JSN 2 years ago, and then Abuke comes in, and now Marvin's gone and they get the top wide receiver in the country, 5-star kid. It just looks like it's another repeat cycle.
Yeah, he's disgusting. So I'm excited.
Well, why don't you go ahead and give us your Heisman picks then?
Sweet. I actually really like Will Howard, but I don't think that's really what I'm looking at today. I'm trying to keep my bias out of it. So I've got a long shot, a guy who I think is a lot of value, and then my pick for sure. My long shot is Cam Ward, going back to the U being back. I'm fired up for him there. He's going to be so good. I think the team is going to be so good. He was already so good out Wazoo, and yeah, I'm excited about him, man. I think Cam Ward is going to be the man, and I think they could win the ACC, and I think he could look really good while doing it. So he's plus 2,200, I believe. Do you have that, Corey?
Cool.
So,
who?
Plus 2,200 for Cam Ward.
I believe so. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. No, I think that's a great long shot. Value. This is pretty straightforward, but I'm looking at Jalen Milroe in a group where I think there are going to be a lot of wins and losses, like you said, Pace, a lot of kind of randomness to this season. I think we look at the guy who I'm pretty sure is like the only quarterback that are in the favorites list that would even got votes last year in the finalists or towards the end there. So I just think consistency. He's Milrose the man. I think potentially if Bama can even go 10-2, I don't even know if they have to win the SEC. Look at Jaden Daniels last year. So we'll see what happens there. But I think that's great value at plus 1,400. He's proven it out compared to these other guys. My pick, though, is going to be Jackson Dart. I think you really want to talk about a guy that looks like Jaden Daniels from last year. I think this is going to be it. He's going to put up crazy stats at Ole Miss. They're focusing everything around him, especially with Judkins gone now. I think Amos is going to be really good there. But I think everything revolves around Jackson Dart at Ole Miss. So plus 1,400, that's my pick. I think Jackson Dart's going to be the man this year.
Hell yeah. Corey, you there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, all right. I will say that I'm a little upset at VFC. I got Jackson Dart at plus 1,300. I think VFC said what, plus 1,400. So VFC got a little better odds, but I'm there with him as well on Jackson Dart. I think the big thing for Heisman is obviously it's probably going to be a quarterback, and then touchdown interception ratio. I think that's huge as well. So Jackson Dart doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He throws a lot of touchdowns. So I think that's good. And two, like we saw last year, like VFC said, even if Ole Miss doesn't have, let's say have 3 losses, like Dart could still win the damn thing. So, both Action and VFC are right. It's also impossible to predict, right? But it's super fun to bet on because I love the big numbers. $50 on Jackson gets me 650. Like that's so sick. Another guy I had, Corey, you're gonna like this guy, Avery Johnson. That's kind of my dark horse. Again, I kind of like dual threat guys. Just looking what Howard did last year, ran a little bit, threw a little bit. Didn't throw as many. I think he went 24 touchdowns, 10 picks. So I don't know, kind of fun. I like his hairstyle. I like the kid. I'm a big hair guy in college football, so I just think he's got a lot of swag, similar to Jackson Dart as well. So plus 2,600, $20 to win 520. That's not too bad if it loses. So $20, that's not
bad. Is that your value play or just who you think is going to win it?
No, I think Jackson's going to win. I think Dart's going to win. I think dark horse. Johnson, that's kind of how I went. Who's going to win dark horse? So.
Oh, I love the Johnson dark horse. I think that kid is so athletic. And then Kansas State's in a position where, they're not a team that beats themselves and they're a team that plays good defense. I think that they're a team that can compete for the new Big 12, easily can compete for the new Big 12. And if they're in a spot to win the new Big 12 and potentially make the playoffs, then Avery Johnson is doing something right and he's got a shot at that point.
Yeah, and just with Kleiman, like even at NDSU with the quarterbacks, like he knows how to coach them up. They'll be fine. Like so, no issues with Avery being coached by them. So.
Nope.
Plus 2,600. I like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit down the board actually for my value, and it's kind of the similar thought process that I just said for Avery Johnson, but I'm gonna go off the beaten path. I'm not gonna take a quarterback for my long shot. I'm gonna take Devin Neal. I think Kansas has been on an upward trajectory for years now. And I think losing Oklahoma and Texas out of the conference, I think that there's a chance they could compete for that conference. And if they win that, make the playoffs, and Devin Neal is going to absolutely have to be a part of that equation. So I don't know. Ollie Gordon had some Heisman talk a little bit last year, being good at Oklahoma State. So I think that Devin Neal could absolutely fit that type of mold this year at Kansas. And then my winner, I'm going to do it.
Hold on. What'd you get him? What are the odds, Corey?
Oh, that's like plus 20,000. That's
okay.
Way. Plus 20,000.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's a true dark horse.
Let's go. Yeah.
And then for my value winner, because there's still some value here at plus 1,500, I'm going to try to pronounce it. I'm going to give it my best shot. Nico Iamaleava, I think.
Tennessee.
Iamaleava. I think that's how you say it.
Not close.
Not close?
I don't know. I don't know. It sounds close.
I don't know, but he won the Heisman Trophy in my first season in college football 25. He's an absolute athlete. Tennessee's got a high-flying offense. So if Tennessee ends up getting, the second or third spot in the playoffs out of the SEC, he's going to have a big reason to do with it. And that offense is going to put up numbers. And he looks good. He's they're saying that he is everything is advertised coming out of fall camp there too. So I think that kid's got a good shot. And at plus 1,500, there's crazy value right there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try that again.
Okay.
I don't know.
You'll get it once
Gotta
you
be close.
once you hear someone pronounce it, a commentator pronounce it, you'll have it.
Oh yeah, those Polynesian names. Why can't they all just be as easy as Raiola? All right. So after the Heisman, we're gonna go ahead and do some conference previews. This is where the takes get real spicy. I know I fell flat on my face last year with Illinois. I'm here to own it. I'm all good with it. They were absolute hot trash last year. So we'll see.
You loved Illinois.
I did.
I think they paid you to talk about them. How much you loved them? Like, I mean, it was insane.
No, because you couldn't pay me enough to talk good about Bert. So we learned from our mistakes. We move forward, I guess. We're gonna go ahead and start off the ACC though. I'll give you guys the odds for these teams, and what we'll do is I'll go ahead and start this one off, and then I'll throw it around the horn. We'll say who our value pick is and who we think is going to actually win the conference. So in the ACC, you got Florida State at plus 290, Clemson at plus 350, Miami plus 400, NC State at plus 650, Louisville plus 750. Then it really starts to drop off with Virginia Tech at plus 1,000, SMU at plus 1,100, North Carolina at 3,000, Syracuse at plus 4,500, Georgia Tech at 7,500, California 9,000, Pittsburgh at 15,000, Boston College plus 15,000, Wake Forest, Virginia, Duke, all at plus 20,000, and Stanford at plus 40,000. On this
so
one,
insane. Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford.
They had their moment in the sun last year, though. No, and by the way, I was on that money line too.
Okay, well, I gave it to you, so
Pace made it famous.
yeah.
Made it famous.
I don't think I ever told anybody. That was my first time. That was the first time my dad made any sports bet ever. We went over to the Hard Rock, and we did a parlay of like a first half under Stanford money line parlay, and it hit. It was wild.
So sick. So sick.
But all right, on this one, I think my value, I'm gonna go with North Carolina just because they seem to reload with athletes. They seem to play, in general, they like to try to play solid defense. And there's a big drop off there in the value. Once you go past SMU, you go from 1,100 to 3,000. So I think if you really wanted to make a value dark horse type of play, you're going to take the odds at plus 3,000 with North Carolina. After them, I don't see anybody that's really competing for the ACC at all, to be perfectly honest. And then if I had to pick a winner, I'm going to go with Grayson McCall at North Carolina State. I think this is the year where you see somebody outside of Florida State or Clemson finally. And I think NC State, with that type of leadership and those type of athletes and that defense, I think you're going to see them do some good things this year.
Can we talk, like, is Mac Brown on the hot seat yet? Like, I mean,
should be
at some point, like, he's either got to retire, like, he's old as hell, and he's won, like, 1-4 in bowl games at UNC. Like, come on.
He loses the opener in Minnesota. Trust me, he's on the hot seat.
Hell yeah. It's going to happen. I like it.
All right. Who do you have in this conference, Pace?
All right. Let's get weird. Let's get wild. My dark horse. Pull it up. I had it here. My dark horse is Cal. I'm taking Cal as my dark horse. I think plus 9,000. Honestly, this team, I think last year the biggest issue with this team was their defense. Well, now they go to the ACC and like Action and all you guys are saying, like, it's kind of trash, right? So, I mean, like, defensively, I don't think they'll have to keep up with some of those, Pac-12 teams from last year. So I think they go to a conference that's a little easier on that end. And then you also got some talent on offense. You got that Mendoza kid. He's now a sophomore. Jaden Ott is like one of the best running backs in the country. 11 touchdowns last year, 1,200 rushing yards, 19 touchdowns in 2 years, which is pretty insane. So at the running back spot. So I don't know. They got some talent on offense, and the defense doesn't have to be great in this conference. I don't think so. At plus 9,000, I think that's a pretty good dark horse. For my winner, though, I'm taking NC State. Plus 300, $200 wins 600. In 11 seasons, head coach Dave Doran has won 8 or more games. 7 times? So, I mean, they're always going to be at the top. And now they get Grayson McCall. So, heck, I'll roll with them at plus 300 to win it all.
I got something to touch on that, Cal. That honestly, you should get more value with Cal than what they're at plus 9,000. They have the most travel of a Power Four school, and it's not even close.
Yeah,
Like
it's
them
awful.
Yeah,
them
they
having
get
to
all
go,
over the place.
dude. It's wild. I want to say it's something
I-
like 30,000 miles.
They better have those
That-
sky miles, right? Is that a dad joke? Come on, that guy's zero last. What's going on?
I laugh. I laughed a little.
That's true. That's true.
Obviously, I like the NC State pick. I just
They
Yeah,
also
yeah.
just, I'm looking at it now. Like they bounce back and forth, home away, home away, home away. It's not even like they get a couple in a row. I feel like until October, they don't even get a couple in a row at home. So like even their non-con, they're home, away, home to start the season. So
They
it's
should
pretty
just play
cool.
half.
They're
half
just
the
lucky
games
they're in
on
a
the road.
conference, okay?
That's
I mean,
true. Yeah.
They can't complain about travel. They're lucky to be in a conference.
Feeling blessed.
But I do think it's going to be really intriguing to see how Cal and Stanford, compete in the ACC. I'm also very interested in SMU too. I think that's intriguing in itself. But
Yeah.
who do you got in this conference there, VFC? You hinted at it earlier. What's your real feelings on Miami?
Yeah, so I think Miami's winning the conference. Truly, I do. I think it's a weak conference. I agree. I think Florida State will be good. I think I actually somewhat believe in DJU. I think they'll set him up to do well enough there. I think maybe JT said it last night on the draft. He was like, DJU is a completely serviceable college football quarterback, and I fully agree. I don't think he's going to play hero ball, but I think he'll be fine. So I think Florida State will be fine. I think NC State. I think I actually put them as like my value pick if you want a little higher odds than one of like the first favorites there. I do think they're also going to be really solid. I think McCall, I believe in him a lot. But I just think Miami, man. I mean, they spent a ton of money this offseason. Cam Ward is the man. I wanted him at OSU last year or this year so bad. I said it last night. Will Howard's going to be great, but man, I wanted Cam Ward. They spent a ton of money. I just think they're gonna be good. They're gonna be back, and the U. That's all I gotta say about that. So I forget what were the odds on them. I wrote it down, but I
Plus
just
400.
Yep, 400. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that still feels like value in a conference. Yeah, it might be a bit up in the air, but I really like Miami. I think they are a very good football team.
I'm not going to disagree with your takes. I just can't say anything nice about them. It's really hard for me.
And I get it. I think in this conference they're gonna look so much better than they actually are. I think, they win the conference, they get to the playoffs. I don't think they're going to necessarily, make a crazy splash, but I do think they're a very, very good football team.
I don't even think that. I think a team like Miami with a brand like Miami, there's a few teams out there, I think a few schools where their brand recognition is so strong that they don't even have to win their conference. If they just put up a 10-2 record, they get in by default because of
Yeah,
that. And I
we'll
think
see.
Miami's one of them.
We will see. But yeah, I'm excited. They actually also have a fairly tough schedule, but again, they get Florida State at home.
Play Florida week 1, don't they?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's at Florida too, but Florida, you know, we'll see how Graham Mertz does down there. But no, I think it'll be a fun season. So it's my ACC takes.
All right.
It would also be so Miami to spend so much money and then just have a horrible season.
So true. They could go 4-8, and I'd be like, "Yeah, that's Miami."
Yeah, like that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
They would absolutely be a team to do that. What do you got for the ACC action?
I like third-year head coaches. So VFC already talked about it. You got Mario Cristobal in year 3 there at Miami. So I have the Canes winning the conference. My long shot is another third-year head coach, Virginia Tech. I'm heavy on them. I absolutely hammered the over 8 wins this year. That was the only prop bet I've played, actually. They're my Texas this year. I really, I mean, not to the extent of how far they're going to go, but confidence level wise, I just love how things set up for Virginia Tech. So I think they're going to have a nice leap forward. And then I know it's too late for the hot takes, but as VFC brought up money, I said to somebody yesterday that Miami and SMU will win 9 of the next 10 conference championships in the ACC because no one is going to spend like those two programs for the next decade.
That's the take.
Yeah,
the Pony Express days are back at SMU. I have some family members in Texas, and let's just say the money is flowing to that program.
Ooh,
That is,
I might have to add it to my sheet here.
not say.
SMU.
I like this.
when I said that I was interested to see how SMU does in the ACC, those were kind of my thoughts, and it didn't even dawn on me that NIL makes recruiting with money legal now. So, yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, SMU's on the rise. I mean, look at what they did in basketball too. They went out there and got the USC coach. How many times do you have a sitting coach at USC go to an SMU?
Yeah. Sure, their schedule really isn't too bad either. I mean, their away games at Nevada, at Louisville, at Stanford, at Duke, and at Virginia. I mean, they get Florida State at home. They get TCU at home. And then their other home opponents, Holy Cross, Pittsburgh, Boston College, and Cal. I mean, it's not bad. It's really not.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the
Even,
win total's at.
even Virginia Tech, like they play Miami and they play Syracuse and Clemson, and
no one.
That's about it. Yeah.
So here's
Okay.
Here's a little side piece there for you. Action. SMU is at 8.5 wins this season, and it's at plus 120 for the over.
Yep, I'm nothing more there. I'm pot committed to Virginia Tech. I can only stomach one ACC team on my docket, but future stock, if I could buy stock in a program, I'm buying a lot of stock in SMU long term, 2-3 years out here.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love it.
I can get in on that. All right. Our next conference that we're going to go ahead and talk about is going to be the Big Ten. That's the one that we all watch probably the most overall in general. I'll go ahead and go through the odds here. No surprise, the top two teams are Ohio State and Oregon. That's where all the pundits have at the top two. Ohio State's at plus 155, Oregon's plus 200. And then it goes to Penn State at plus 500, Michigan at plus 700. And it's those four and everybody else. Because then you get to USC, it's plus 20,000. Iowa's plus, or 20, what is that? Yeah, no, 2,000.
2,000.
Plus 2,000, yeah. And then Iowa's plus 3,500, Nebraska plus 5,500, Wisconsin 6,500, Washington at 8,000, Maryland at 10,000. Then you get Rutgers at 12,000, UCLA at 15,000, Minnesota 18,000. Then it's Northwestern, Michigan State, Indiana, Illinois, all at plus 20,000 with Purdue at plus 30,000. So on this one, we'll go ahead and shake it up a little bit. We'll go ahead and start with you, VFC.
Cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I think my pick here. Ohio State is winning the Big Ten. And this isn't me sleeping on Oregon. Look, I think Oregon's going to be really good. I'm actually here to tell you exactly how this season goes down for the Buckeyes. They go 11-1. They lose at Oregon. I think, it's early enough in the season where it's like still kind of learning how to play together a little bit. That's just going to be a tough environment to play in. I think Oregon's really game. They're really good. They had OSU's number in 2021, and I think we see a little bit of that. They get back. They make it to the Big Ten championship. They play Oregon, and they smoke them, beat them by 14 in the Big Ten championship. And they go on, and we'll see what happens from there. But I really think they get that game under their belt. They find out how to play together, and I think a loss will be good for them early in the season, circa Virginia Tech 2014. So yeah, that's my take on that. As far as value goes, it pains me to say this, but Michigan at plus 700 is kind of insane to me. I, again, just don't understand why they're behind Penn State. They're the same team that they were last year. Obviously, they lost the entire offensive line. Like, they lost a lot of pieces, but they're playing the same game as they were playing last year. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play great defense. That defense is still insane. Wouldn't be surprised. Their schedule, they get every single hard game they have at home until Ohio State. So you never know. Get them in the game and we'll see what happens. And then my real dark horse slash flyer, Corey, you're absolutely going to love this. It's Nebraska. I mean, I think plus 5,500 feels crazy to me. We know what everyone else is bringing to the table this year in the Big Ten. We have no idea what Nebraska is going to look like this year. They're explosive. They're going to be, but at the same time, I just think they have the right mindset in that locker room. And you never know. I just think they could do something crazy. Plus 5,500 feels a little wide for me. So that's my dark horse.
Yeah, I obviously love that. and it speaks volume for, an Ohio State fan to say nice things when, you got the whole Dylan Raiola decommitment.
He's insane. I mean, he's so good. I wish he was my quarterback, but he's so good.
When I watched the spring game, it did feel like, when Ohio State gets a 5-star quarterback, they come in and that first week they come in and they just tear it up and you're like, oh, here we go again. Another 3 years with a great quarterback, and you can just kind of tell that they have that it factor. That's how I felt watching Dylan. So
he's so good.
I love the kid already. I really hope he doesn't make me eat my words.
Do you have his jersey yet, Corey?
I already had a 15 long before him.
Okay. All right.
No, I'll go ahead and go, and then we'll finish it around the rest of the guys here, because I do have an Oregon take. I agree Ohio State's probably going to win the conference. I do agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I know we'll shout them out. PG is high on Oregon. There's a lot of people high on Oregon to win the Big Ten. You know what? I speak from experience. I remember coming into the Big Ten. We made the Big Ten championship game. What was it, first or second year in the conference? And then we haven't even sniffed anything like that. And it's because you have to recruit completely different types of players. You don't get to come in and run a Pac-12 or Big 12 style offense and dictate things in this conference. You have to win in a phone booth and you have to win with physicality. And when you pull up Oregon's schedule, they've got Illinois, who's not good. We're not going to say Illinois is good, but they're going to be physical. they're gonna play physically. And then you finish out the year with Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington. Washington being big time rival. I genuinely think they lose that game in Wisconsin and Madison halfway through November.
Let's go.
Wow. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be cold. Like all these Pac-12 schools have to come to the Midwest in November, and I think that they're going to lose those games. And then Michigan, so they're going to get beat up. I think they're going to get worn down. You got Ohio State, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan State, all on this schedule. Those are all traditional phone booth style Big Ten teams, and I think it's going to wear on them. And I think you're going to see them have to change their recruiting strategy. So I don't think they come in and dominate the way people say they do. I think that they're going to have to modify a little bit. As far as my value, I don't even know. If you wanted to get crazy with it, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go Rutgers. I'm going to go crazy with it. Plus 12,000. Rutgers misses all 4 of those top 4 teams that I said in the odds here. So the best team that they have to play is USC. And they're in year 3 of Schiano. I think that this is a team that's going to surprise people, probably somehow win 9 games. I don't know. I'm not going to bet.
Action. Can you tell Corey
stop smoking
to watch Ethan Kaliakmanis play football just one time in his entire life?
I have.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoy Rutgers. Their defense is going to be great. Monangai is insane, or however you say his name. He's a ridiculous running back. But Ethan Kaliakmanis is not winning a Big Ten championship. I don't care. Tell him.
I can throw a 30-yard out better than he can.
Thank you. Guy stinks.
But that could have been the PJ Fleck system. We're going to find out. OC went there with the QB, so it could be we were handcuffing both the OC and the quarterback at Minnesota. We'll find that out.
Oh, we will, but
You want to hear stats, Corey, or are you good?
Oh no, you go ahead. This is strictly based off of Greg Schiano, year 3, and that schedule. Like that's what when I'm saying value play or long shot, I'm saying Rutgers because go look at that schedule. And the tiebreakers, we still don't even know what Big Ten tiebreakers are. They don't play any of those top 4 teams, so they won't have a head-to-head tiebreaker. You don't know. They could have the same record as the number 2 team because they didn't play the number 2 team.
Wait, did you say there's no tiebreakers yet?
They haven't announced them yet.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But go ahead, play the stats. Come on.
All right. 17 touchdowns, 13 picks, 52 completion percentage. Not great. One out of, and he's never thrown a 50-yard touchdown, Corey. His longest one last year was 39 yards. Dude can't throw.
To his defense, though, he didn't have any good tight ends at Minnesota.
That's fair. Okay.
so bad.
And they didn't run the ball as well as they normally do. Just
I'm
throwing
excited about this New Hampshire kid in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Excited about him. We'll see.
So who do you got for the Big Ten pace?
All right. Well, so I kind of went a little different route because I think I just kind of figured everyone was either going to take like Oregon or Ohio State. So I kind of did like 2 dark horses, I guess. I love USC. I don't think enough people are talking about the new DC. Deonson Lynn, the dude transformed UCLA's defense last year from like 90th in both defense to like 11 in the nation. So like we talk about the Big Ten being like big boy football. I don't know. USC just got a guy that knows how to play big boy football. So just like heads up on there. So I kind of like USC there. Just you never know defensively what could happen with the Trojans. Again, Miller Moss, like I don't know if he's going to be legit or not. He did throw like 6 picks against Louisville in last year's game. So in the bowl game. So who knows what happens there? But at plus 2,000, I put a little money on that. And then dark horse, I'm going Wisconsin again. Just kind of sticking with these traditional Big Ten schools, right? It's going to be cold in November, like Corey said, and that'd be sick if they could pull that one off. But again, Fickle's second year, they brought him in from Cincy to win football games, to win championships, right? So at plus 5,000, the defense should be solid again this year if they could figure it out offensively in his second year. Never know what could happen. So I just kind of went a different route. I figured everyone was going to go Oregon or Ohio State. So
I like it. You're maybe selling me on USC a little bit, but again, it just comes down to the schedules for me.
Sure.
Wisconsin's schedule is miserable. It's miserable. I mean, it's just bully bowl week in and week out. I mean, Alabama week 3. So
yeah.
Oh,
so,
no.
what is? I think there's a lot of hard schedules out there this year, and I think what is cool is like Florida's schedule is outrageous. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, whoever set that up for Florida, fire their ass. Like, how does that happen? 8 preseason ranked teams get like how?
Yeah.
But I think there is a lot of teams that have some big numbers in front of them betting wise. That like, hey, if they exceed expectations a little, their schedule is so tough they can knock off some of these teams. And with 12 teams making the playoff, dude, anything can happen.
Yeah, and really, I think this year is going to tell us, hey, this is how you bet the new college football, right?
Sure.
Going forward, this year is really an experimental year, and maybe it'll be similar to previous years. I don't think it will either, but there's kind of in these experimental years, there's typically a chance to make some money. So I'm excited about it.
I was talking to Pumbaa last night too. One more thing, sorry, then I'll stop talking. I was talking to Pumbaa too last night that like this year in betting, like I feel it's like either hammer underdogs or like hammer the favorites because like they're such small favorites, they should be larger favorites. Like there's such a massive disparity in the middle there. So I guess we'll see. These first couple weeks.
Yeah, on VFC's point, last year was unders with the rule changes. So last year there was rule changes and the unders were money for a while there. I'm just going to throw this out there, Pace. We can go ahead and hash this out real quick. Look at USC's schedule, dude. They got to start with LSU.
Yeah.
Not a walk in the park. But then I'm gonna give you this string of schools and tell you when the bye week is. To end September out, it's Michigan, Wisconsin, then it's Minnesota, Penn State. Are you like they're literally going to be black and blue by the end of those 4 games. And then they go and they play October, Maryland, cool. Rutgers, another physical team. Washington, we don't know what Washington is, but we can't assume anything great. and then they get a bye week. Then they play Nebraska. Then they get their crosstown rivals with UCLA in the last week of the year. They get their big time rival with Notre Dame. That 4-game stretch, I think that they are going to get beat up, and I think that they're going to struggle down the stretch because of that 4-game stretch, personally.
And that's fair, but like also like this is just the Big Ten now. Like this is what you're going to get, So like, I don't know. The schedule is schedule. I get it, but like, it's your new schedule, baby.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think USC, by moving to the Big Ten, put themselves in a spot kind of similar to what Action was saying about SMU, where long-term wise, buy stock, because once they start recruiting for this conference and with that, ceiling potential that program has, we're talking, middle 2000, early mid 2000s type USC stuff.
Yeah,
but it's going to take them a little bit to get there, I think.
Yep, it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah. All right, who do you got in the Big Ten? Action.
Ironically, VFC, I think we get the same script because I was going to give all 3 bullet points that he provided. My big concern is I really feel like Ryan Day is putting out propaganda, setting the expectations that they will lose to Oregon. That's all I hear. And I looked at the line, and it's still a 1-point line. And everyone I'm talking to is saying Oregon's going to win that game. It's like predetermined. Pace is onto something, though. USC is my sleeper. Corey, there's part of me that feels like Nebraska for the last decade has lost so many close games that you guys could just have this big breakthrough year under Rule. So I almost feel like I'm living in the 80s or 90s here, because I feel like Nebraska and USC are rising again, and one of those two could be a factor to play Ohio State. And I am not in on Oregon, folks. I will be taking the points with Boise and even sprinkle a little money line on that in week number 2. That is how down I am actually on Oregon compared to everyone else. And that's a hot take that could go completely wrong, of course, because I know they're projected number 2 in the Big Ten, but I think the Ducks are going to struggle much more in the Big Ten this year than USC. We'll see how it plays out.
Actions bring the heat. I love it.
I'm here for it, man. That stylistic difference between Oregon and those traditional Big Ten teams, it more often than not goes to the team that can slow it down and run you over. Generally,
I fully agree. I mean, it goes back to Colorado, like exactly what we were talking about earlier. And I guess, like, how good do we think Dylan Gabriel is? I mean, I don't know. I truly don't know. Like, again, at Oklahoma last year, he was good. I would argue, like, very good. But I'm just excited to see him kind of in this big stage and see what he can do. So yeah, we'll see.
One aspect of this before we move on to the next conference that I just want to throw out there that I think is intriguing is going to be UCLA's offense. I'm very curious with Eric Bieniemy coming in and calling plays. He's been waiting for an opportunity to call plays for a while as an offensive coordinator, and he's a good offensive coordinator. So I'm very curious to see how they do. Just some random thought. I'll be watching that and kind of keeping an eye on that. Plus, I do think UCLA has the best jerseys in college football. Now they're in the Big Ten. So
Gabriel, I think BSC is really good. I think he's really good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to see how he plays in the Big Ten. We'll see.
All right. With that, we'll go ahead and move over to the new Big 12. We got a bunch of new conferences, new ACC, new Big 10, new Big 12. We'll have the new SEC next. With the new Big 12, we've got Utah as the betting favorites at plus 320, Kansas State at plus 380, Oklahoma State at plus 750, UCF at plus 900, Kansas at plus 950, Iowa State at 950. We have Arizona at plus 1100, Texas Tech at 1400, West Virginia and TCU both at plus 1800. We've got Colorado at plus 2,800, Baylor at plus 6,000, Cincinnati at plus 8,000. Then we have Arizona State at plus 10,000, Houston at plus 11,000, and BYU at plus 12,000. I'll go ahead and start this one off, and then we'll go around. I'm very surprised to see BYU at plus 12,000. I didn't think that they would be the bottom team in the conference, betting-wise in the beginning. That surprised me. But I will say that I think I'm going to have to go with Kansas State. I just think that for the majority of the teams in this conference, they've already been playing them for a while. They know them pretty well. They play a style of football that translates to no matter who their opponent is, and they're going to play their game. And I think they're primed to take that step and win this new conference. if I was taking a value play, I'm going to go with West Virginia. I think that they return too many good players. I know B. Russ is going to love this, even though he hates me. But we're riding West Virginia. I assumed that they would be top 5 or 6. I didn't think that they would be in the bottom half of the conference betting wise. So 1,800, that's crazy value to me, and I absolutely love them. No Oklahoma, no Texas in this conference anymore. West Virginia's got a shot just as good as anybody else.
West Virginia's so cooked, dude. We're all on them. It's terrible.
Poor B.
They're
Russ.
so
There is no climb.
They're so toast.
There is no climb.
All right, we'll go ahead and go over to you, Action.
Chris Kleiman guy here. So anytime you back Kansas State, I'm with you. He's the best football coach I've ever interacted with. But my long shot, there's a team in this conference that actually played in the national championship game, 18 months ago? And what are you telling me I get with Sonny Dykes? I think TCU is going to be a team to not sleep on, because the Big 12 is similar to the ACC to me. I could see 7 different teams winning this thing. You can throw them in a hat, and I just like Sonny Dykes as a coach. And I almost feel like, I know they won their next 3 games after it, but after that loss to Colorado to start the season, it was like the year was in shambles last year for TCU. I think they start with solid foundation this year. There's still, a lot of good parts here. I actually like both of their coordinators. So yeah, I'll take a flyer on TCU at that price.
Right. Adding that to my notes here, Action.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that logic. That makes sense to me. All right, and who do you got for the Big 12 BFC?
I'm going with Utah. I said this last night again on the draft. I'm just going to trust Cam Rising. As long as he can stay healthy, and this is actually the story for both of my plays here. As long as he can stay healthy, I think this Utah team is just better than any other team in the Big 12. I think Kansas State is also good. They're solid. I think this conference is very similar to the ACC. It's incredibly up in the air. But I am going Utah. As far as value goes, I like Kansas. If Jalen Daniels can stay healthy, they're returning a lot, especially on offense. They're pretty electric. They're, again, another team that's just fun to watch no matter what. And I think Kansas can win some games as long as they can stay healthy. So 2 big ifs there. If these guys who are historically very injury prone can stay healthy, but I'm a big fan of both these teams.
I like Kansas too.
Yeah, I'm a huge Leopold guy, so I'm right there with you.
Yep.
Shout out.
And who do you got, Pace?
All right, so I got a couple different bets here. I got Arizona to make the Big 12 title game at plus 450. Again, Noah Fafita, I think his name is. I might have butchered that. I got a $20 bet on him at plus 4,000 to win the Heisman. Dude's super talented, and I think Arizona, strong defense, and they got some good guys on the outside, some playmakers on the outside. I think that they could, score some points, and plus 450 to make the Big 12 team. I think it's going to be a mess, like Action said. 7-8 teams, who knows what'll happen? Throw them in a hat, pick the best one. So Arizona at plus 450, I'll take that one. And then I'm going to go Oklahoma State to win the Big 12 at plus 700. They return 10 starters on both offense and defense. That's huge. And so again, I'm gonna take them. And again, you got what is his name? Ollie Gordon, right? Isn't like he super talented at the running back spot? So like to win the Big 12 when it's really anybody's game at plus 700, I think this is great value to get this.
Oh yeah, when you see Ohio State's at plus 140 or something, well,
Yeah.
Ohio State is just as good a chance as anybody, honestly.
Yeah, and they got the Bowman kid that's been in like college for like 100 years, so like veteran quarterback there. So I don't know.
And they have the QR codes on their helmets so you can scan it and donate the money quick.
There we go. Look at that.
Every time we want to
I haven't seen that yet.
Every time we want to
just donate it to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will say this. I think out of the Power 4 conferences, I think the Big 12 might be the most fun to watch this year.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think it's going to be relatively close either. I think
they're going to be a blast. It's going to be a crapshoot every single week.
But look, I think Utah's really good though too.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really, really good. So we'll see.
If their commissioner's smart, they should absolutely try to steal the Pac-12 after dark thunder with these teams. Like they should absolutely take that late Saturday night kickoff.
Yeah, who is taking that?
Nobody yet. I mean, I don't think that there's a conference that's made it a point to try to take that time slot, but
Okay.
I think that this conference fits that mold beautifully.
Also just talking about like scheduling. I think October 12th is when we like a whole boatload of good games are. I think I have a wedding that day. So like that sucks, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that's like there's so many good games that day.
Yeah, I think Barstool was talking about that. I actually immediately went and looked, and Nebraska has a bye week that week, so I don't know. I might just stay in boxers.
What week is that?
October 12th, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's the
Oregon, Ohio State, is it?
I mean, Oregon, Ohio State game.
Red River shootouts that day.
Yeah. Another really good one is September 28th, I want to say. That's a good weekend too. We've got some fun ones this year.
What do we got? Oh, we got Boise. Okay.
Arizona
got some good games. Yep.
See.
OK State, Kansas State.
I want to say Georgia at Bama. That's the big one.
Yep.
Yeah, that could be a fun one too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling up that day of the 12th just to see here. We got it's Ohio State, Oregon, Ole Miss, LSU, Penn State, USC, Florida, Tennessee, Kansas State, Colorado, which is an underrated rivalry coming back with the new Big 12. Trying to look.
Washington at Iowa is a great game for us Big Ten lovers.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. Florida, Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just those are some heavy hitters right there. Texas, Oklahoma. Obviously, that's going to be a marquee game.
Boise State at Hawaii at 10 p.m. Central. Wow.
Let's go, dude. Let's go.
I don't think it actually gets any better than that to end the day.
Ooh, Stanford, Notre Dame. Like, that's just kind of
that's a fun one. I mean, no matter how bad that's always fun.
Exactly. Yeah. On ABC, right? Usually.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's just.
Oh, NBC. No, NBC.
Yes, that's right. Because
yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's just a really, really good week. All right. Did everybody go? Is there? I think that's everybody on the Big 12, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So last Power Four conference we're going to get into is going to be the SEC. And I'll go ahead and list off the odds here. We got Georgia at plus 190, Texas at plus 320, Ole Miss at 650, Alabama at 750. And we got LSU at plus 1,000, A&M at plus 1,400, Tennessee at plus 1,500, Missouri at plus 1,800. Then there's the drop off. We got plus Oklahoma at plus 3,000, Auburn at plus 6,000, Kentucky at plus 10,000, and we get Florida and South Carolina at plus 12,000, Arkansas at plus 25,000, Mississippi State at plus 40,000, and Vanderbilt at plus 100,000. I don't even know why they got that on the board.
Because they've got an electric quarterback.
Electric backup quarterback.
It's going to be so good.
Oh. All right. On this one, we'll go ahead and start with you, Pace.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Let's see. So I'll start with my dark horse first. My dark horse, I'm going to take Florida. And I know their schedule is very, 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 very tough, but I'm going to take Florida. And I actually took them. I bet here is to make the college football playoff at plus 1,800. Again, I believe in Graham Mertz. I do think Billy Napier is probably on the hot seat here. But again, he's got a really solid roster here. Graham Mertz is back. One more year, right? 6-year senior or something crazy like that. So like he knows the college football landscape. He knows the game. This is the best Graham Mertz we're going to get. So if you can knock off somebody, you got, I'm looking at the schedule here. Miami, A&M, Georgia, LSU, and Ole Miss all at home. I don't know, get to 5-3 in those games. Even 500, who knows what can happen with 12 teams. So at plus 1,800 with that tough a schedule, it's all laying out in front of them. All they have to do is just go play the game and try and win. I like that one for my dark horse. But my other favorite bet for this year is Alabama to just make the SEC title game at plus 285. Like, it's still freaking Bama. I know everyone talks about Georgia, but again, Bama doesn't have to even win the title game. They just got to make it there. And I just think that no matter the coaching change, I think he's from South Dakota even too. The new guy, DeBoer. That's kind of sick. But to make the title game at plus 285, Alabama, I think that's free money, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of did, Corey. So
No. That's actually, or go ahead, VFC.
No, that's super interesting. I mean, I do think there's value there at the end of the day. If you're getting Alabama at almost plus 300 to appear in the title game, that's
yeah, don't have to win it. Just get there.
obviously everyone's assuming Georgia, Texas. I think Texas, they're going to be good, I think, but I don't think they're going to be necessarily what they were last year, and they don't have an easy schedule either. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't dislike that at all.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go next. I mean, it's still Bama. There's still enough carryover from Saban's, dynasty. I know they haven't won a national championship for a few years, but that's still that's still his players that he brought in. And I really, really liked Boer's offensive mind, and I think that can bring out something in Milroe that wasn't being brought out before. And I think that could be really dangerous with the level of talent that they have. So plus 750. This isn't even necessarily that I don't know. Georgia and Texas probably, it's kind of like the Big Ten with Ohio State and Oregon, but at plus 750 in the name Alabama, like how do you not bet that? It is kind of like what you were saying, Pace. So I'm there with you. If I was going to put money on a winner, I'm going to put it on Bama just because of the value in that. And then if I'm taking a long shot, I'm going to go with here's one of my takes on the SEC. The best offensive player in this conference plays for Missouri, and that's Luther Burden. And so I'm going to take Missouri at plus 1,800 as my value play to win this conference because I think that they're good enough offensively to work their way to the conference championship game. And at that point, all bets are off.
What'd you say Missouri was?
Plus 1,800.
Damn.
I truly do believe that. This is obviously a long shot play, so we're kind of grasping for straws when we talk about these long shots, but I truly do think he's the best offensive player in this conference. Like I actually do believe that.
He's so good.
So good. Like his body control. I can't wait to see what he does on Sundays. Like I think he's probably the surefire receiver in this.
Very Garrett Wilson-esque with the body control.
Yep. I was going to say CD. I was going to say reminds me of CD when he was at Oklahoma.
I like it.
Freaking Missouri only lost 2 games last year. Damn.
Yeah, one was to Georgia in the regular season.
Yeah, by 11, and then they lost to LSU by 10.
Yeah. And 10-2 can get you into the conference championship this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they're adding a bunch of teams that are going to intimidate Missouri. Missouri's used to playing Texas and Oklahoma. Like this isn't, this is the SEC that they're accustomed to now, plus teams that don't scare them. It's kind of a different thing.
Missouri to make the SEC title game plus 600. Like I actually thought it'd be a little higher than that.
Yeah, that was weird given the odds to win it. I don't like that.
Yeah, it doesn't match up. Yeah.
Nope.
Sus.
All right, what do you got, Action?
I'm changing my mind on the fly as you guys sell me on all these teams. So
do not listen, Action.
Yeah, I was going to go Ole Miss coming into this. That's where I was going to go. And I think somebody has their QB obviously in the mix for the Heisman. So I think I'll stick with Ole Miss there. But as you guys are talking about the depth of the SEC, at first I thought it was crazy because the prop on the SEC to have 4.5 teams in the playoffs, the overs at a plus 125, but you guys have rattled off the 10th best team in the SEC, the 5th best team. So I'm starting to believe maybe I should be just betting the over 4.5 SEC teams to make the damn playoffs.
Hell yeah. I like that. A plus money.
But yeah, I mean, so I guess my technical long shot is Ole Miss, and then the chalky play would be Georgia still for me. I am not high on Bama. I hate to admit it. I would not be shocked if they lose to Wisconsin.
Interesting. All right, Action. Why are you not big on Bama? I want to like.
Why am I not big on Alabama?
Yeah.
I obviously coaching change is part one, right? You're changing everything in the system there, and I think you have one of the most entrenched fan bases. You probably have one of the most entrenched athletic facilities, because if you're doing anything different than Coach Saban did, I think you're getting met with some back office resistance. And, you hear all the rumblings that the nil factor hasn't been favorable for Alabama. So do we maybe not realize that maybe this talent roster has gone from a heavy 5-star mix to more of a 4-star mix, and Alabama is not winning the recruiting battles in the last 3-4 years. So this roster isn't the stacked Bama roster depth-wise that, Saban's probably had for as long. And now I could be completely wrong in my opinions there, but I look at Alabama, I see potential to lose 4 games versus go 12-0. And Pace, you could be completely right. And I'm not, hey, we got a good football coach coming in, but if there's one job that I would not have wanted to be the guy to follow the guy, I think it was at Alabama.
No, it's interesting. Like I said, I was just wondering. So, but I do agree with you. Yeah, nobody wants to take over for the guy, right? That's interesting.
And Saban was I put him on the Mount Rushmore in the last 20 years for college. There's no job I would have not wanted to follow in his steps than that one. And culture-wise, you referenced the South Dakota thing. Whew, well, welcome to Alabama. She's going to be a pressure cooker every week.
Yep.
Yeah, you make a pretty good point there. There's probably a handful of coaches in the history of college football where you don't want to follow that guy, and I'm sitting here 30 years later, and I still suffer from the issue that you're putting DeBoer into a situation of. I never thought about that. So you make a extremely valid point. Anything that doesn't go the way that it used to go, immediately he's the problem. And it's going to be that way until they win a serious game, until they make a playoff run. Like, they're not going to trust the next coach until he wins a championship. It's just going to be that way.
Yeah, and really, I mean, I think you're spot on, action with the pressure side of things. There's not going to be a whole lot of patience in Alabama. I mean, mostly with the fans, we know exactly how they are. And I really think, like, honestly, what's hurting Alabama is not necessarily the recruits and the commits that they're losing, because they're really not losing that many, but more so the transfers. I mean, they did transfer out a lot of guys, and yeah, they transferred in a lot of guys too, but most of it felt like Big Ten and Pac-12 guys that just, I don't know.
They downgraded their star rankings in the transfer portal, right?
Yeah. I believe so.
They had a net loss versus net gain.
Exactly. I believe they got beat up in the transfer portal, maybe not so bad recruiting wise, which I think for like the long-term state of Alabama this year is so pivotal. If DeBoer comes in and picks right up where Saban left off, and Alabama looks great, and they go 11-1, and they make the playoffs, and they make a run, whatever it is, they're going to be Alabama for the next foreseeable future. If DeBoer comes in and they go 8-4 and they really struggle, and there's not a ton of patience, and guys are leaving and guys are quitting on the team, whatever it is, you never know. This could be the downfall of Alabama. So, and when I say downfall, I mean, we're just talking like a ranked 20th team versus.
Yeah, they'll still be a top 25 program. I'm not saying that.
Right, of course.
When you look at their road games, Wisconsin, Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, that's a tough road stretch for anybody. And I mean, I have Oklahoma circled because Oklahoma's been waiting for Bama to come to their place forever. Wisconsin's been counting down this game for the last decade since it was signed. Tennessee, obviously, and LSU. I mean, Brian Kelly needs that dang win. I mean, and then you're playing Georgia, the number 1 team at home. I mean, yeah, like I said, I really can see 4 losses on that schedule. But heck, you put them in the playoffs, they may win the thing.
And I just thought of something here too. You brought up Ole Miss, and BFC had Jackson Dart. Look at these, and you just, the Saban disciples not having to beat Saban, but still getting to beat Bama. There's that whole aspect. Maybe now it's Lane Kiffin gets to beat Bama now. Saban's gone. Lane Kiffin can beat Bama. All of a sudden, Ole Miss is on the rise.
Yeah, you got a lot of hurdles that can be climbed this year, and it could be at the expense of Mr. DeBoer.
Yeah, I think you
I
convinced
think you guys
me.
just talked me out of my Alabama to make the SEC title game bet. So thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Pace is now a lock, by the way. It's now a
yeah,
lock.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, and then VFC, did you?
No, I've got it's pretty simple. Again, action. I think we had the same notes. Georgia, I know it's only like plus 190. It just feels like stealing. I just think they're not. I just don't know who's going to touch them. But I really do like Ole Miss. I think they're going to be a lot of fun this year, and I think all it takes is you to catch a team like Georgia on a bad day in the SEC championship. And again, like we said before, if you're at Georgia and you're going into the SEC championship undefeated, it still matters, obviously, but it's not the fear like before of, am I still going to make it to the playoffs if I lose? Like you 100% are. And versus a team like Ole Miss might come in with 2 losses or 3 losses and be right on the fence, and they have to play their hearts out to get into the playoffs. So you really never know. Things are going to change. So I think it's tough to pick these winners. If you really want like a long shot dark horse, Auburn. They're returning a lot. They seem to kind of get into their groove. They should have beat Alabama last year. They do have to play at Bama this year. They have just a hard schedule in general. But at the same time, Hugh Freeze is doing good things there. They're kind of starting to come together. Maybe I'm going to be a year early on this, but at plus 6,000, it feels like a lot.
Plus 6,000.
Yeah.
I like that too. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. No, I that Ole Miss logic. I just, I don't know. I'm kind of gravitating towards it now. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna transition to the group of 5 conferences. We're gonna do these a little bit different. I'm not gonna read all the odds. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just we're gonna bring up each conference, and then if there's a team that you feel good about, that's really kind of what we're going for. If you've got a long shot that you like, and then obviously we all need to pick a winner. We got to pick somebody in this conference that we think is going to win the conference. And what I'll do is I'll just say the names of the conference after all the realignment things have gotten shifted around. So we'll make sure that we know who's exactly in the conference, and then we'll go ahead and pick who we think is going to win, and if there's any storyline in there or something that you want to talk about. So we'll go ahead and we'll start off with the American Athletic Conference. We got in order of best odds to worst odds is how I'm going to read them off. We've got Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, South Florida, Rice, East Carolina, North Texas, Army, Florida Atlantic, UAB, Navy, Tulsa, Charlotte, and Temple. And I'll go ahead and kick this one off. UTSA lost a lot. I love riding the UTSA train the last couple of years, but they've kind of graduated that whole slew of players. So I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to go with Tulane. They're at plus 310. I just think that top to bottom, they have the best roster. I think they've played the best the last few years. I think that this is just the best team in this conference, and I think they're going to win this conference at plus 310. Plus, they got the coolest jerseys in the conference, and we all know how much that matters. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Pace.
So I like 2 bets here in this conference, and I think if you bet Memphis or really Tulane too, because it's plus money, but I think if you just bet one of those 2 teams to make it to the title game, I think you'll make some money. Figure out how to bet it to make some money, because I think one of those 2 teams is going to make it there. But if I had to pick a winner, I do think, it's really Memphis to lose, I think, right? But Tulane, coaching change, Corey? Did they get a coaching change? Is that correct?
It's a good question. I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. They're yes. They have a first-year head coach.
Yeah. Okay. So I know
Willie
UTSA.
Fritz moved on.
Willie Fritz moved on. Okay. I know UTSA lost a little bit, but again, them plus 175 to make the title game. I think they should be the 3rd team ranked there instead of Tulane, but that's just my 2 cents. So again, a little different bets than winners and losers, but
Yep, we got John Summerall. He was at Troy the last 2 years as the head ball coach, and this is his first year at Tulane.
yeah. Okay.
All right, VSC, what do you got?
I like Memphis. I like Memphis a lot. But if you want me to give you a long shot, North Texas. I think they could be a lot of fun this year. Chandler Morris he's good. He's athletic. I think they've got a few really good running backs. We'll see. Their defense is pretty awful, I think, but you never know. So North Texas would be my real long shot.
North Texas, for some reason, just seems to be the group chat's darling for college football 25. I'm here for it.
They're cool.
I also see Charlotte makes the playoff a lot too.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Go ahead.
I'm just. Is it me or who?
Yeah, you.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, VFC, if you got another point, go for it.
Nope.
Okay. In this conference, I can't believe no one named my team. UCF or USC or South Florida, the Bulls, baby. There we go. Take me to Tampa. I can't pronounce it, but I might be a year early on the Bulls, but this is going to be the team. Last year they lost to Bama, 17-3. They had that shootout against Memphis, 59-50. They get Memphis at home this year after a bye week, and I know all the Memphis love, but it situationally sets up for South Florida in a perfect spot. You have 18 starters back. Tampa, they got a ton of talent. They've been recruiting. This guy, Alex, South Florida is going to be the power of this conference very soon. If it's not this year, it's definitely going to be next year. So if you're giving me the Bulls at any type of price, I can't, say their letters right, but I've been to their stadium at Raymond James. I've been to their campus. I used to live there, baby. I like the Bulls a lot.
And we really are channeling chaos of 2007 this episode.
Yeah, we are. I'm trying. What were their odds to win?
Plus 650.
Plus 650. Okay.
Yeah, I can get.
I'm finding all these bets. I'm like, shit. I think I might have to make it.
No, and recruiting wise, like that's just a good spot for them to be in because they don't really have much competition in that area, that state, to recruit against other teams in their conference. So that, yeah, I like that. I like that take. All right, so now we'll go ahead and move over to Conference USA, much smaller conference. I'll go ahead and go from betting favorite to the bottom of the pile here with Liberty, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, Sam Houston, Louisiana Tech, Middle Tennessee, UTEP, New Mexico State, and Florida International, FIU. This is the only conference that we've stumbled across so far where the betting favorite is minus money, and it's Liberty at minus 200. And then, you got a couple teams in there that have a chance, apparently, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State. So I'm not going to bet minus 200 as a conference winner. I'm going to throw something small and take the plus money with Jacksonville State at plus 550, just because I'm not going to pay a juice for a conference winner. Like I'm just not. I just can't do that. I don't know. It's probably going to be Liberty, but give me Jacksonville State. Go ahead and go over to you, Action.
I like that take. I was debating between one of two teams, FAU or FIU. I can't get letters right when we abbreviate them. Florida International. Mike McIntyre, you remember him from the Colorado days. He's the coach there, third year, 14 starters back. But for some reason, and this is probably Pace and I having, or at least me having a little bit of an FCS bias, right?
Yep.
Sam Houston was such a tough out for North Dakota State there for a while. It's a solid program, and I think they started, 0-8 last year. They won 3 of their last 4. They have a coach there in his 11th year, has some starters back, and he's won a ton of games. Yes, at the FCS level, but I just have a funny feeling winning 3 of the final 4 last year. Don't sleep on Sam Houston. I think they could be a real dark horse in the conference, and I definitely would play their win total to the over.
I like that. I'll go, Corey, because I have something to add on Action. But Sam Houston, just to make the conference title game at plus 550, it's free money. If there's anything that was free money, it's that right there. So, yes.
There's that.
And shout out Pitbull didn't he get the naming rights for FIU, their stadium or something?
He did. 1.2 million. Well spent. Well,
That's so sick. That's not even that much money. Like
no,
in the grand scheme of things,
no, it's really
like,
not. I was saying that
no.
the other day, actually, to some of my friends.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, action. I'm with you with Sam Houston, baby.
if they're going to get Pitbull, they need to get rights to Fireball then too.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that
Double the price?
Is that your Conference USA take though? Is the Sam Houston? Is that your play for this conference then?
Yeah, just to make the game at plus 550. I can on my book like parlay futures. I don't know. Can you do that at like DraftKings or anything? I bet you could. But like I think if you take Liberty and Boise State to win their conference titles, I think that's some decent money too. Little parlay take. But again, I can't do that at my book. So
All right, what do you got for this conference, VFC?
Liberty, just simple as that. I'm not even going to mess around with long shot because it's not happening. But no, Pace, I like that about Sam Houston. I think I will probably tail that. So
yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I like that little play just to make the conference championship game. That's fun. That's a fun one.
Yeah, like Action said, all the things he said. So at plus 550, that's a good price, and you could probably get it for better, probably closer to 600. I'm sure.
All right, so now this will bring us to we got what? I think we got two more after this. We're gonna be talking about the MAC Tuesday night action. We all got a soft spot for some action, don't we? All right, so oh, love it. All right, I'll go ahead and same thing as before. Read through the team name or read through the teams in the conference. I think this is the only conference in all of college football going into the season where there's no change. Yeah. So we should know these. We got Miami, Toledo, Western Michigan, Northern Illinois, Bowling Green, Ohio, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, Ball State, Akron, and Kent State. In that order, right? And that's the order of the betting favors for them. So on this one, we'll go ahead and start with you, Action.
Lifetime, I am down 1,842 units in the Maction football. There's no conference I dislike more in the world than Maction football. And I'll just pick Miami of Ohio, and I will be bitter the entire year. That's all I have to say about Maction football.
I think there's a lot of people down a lot of units from Action.
If I bet the over, it goes under. If I bet the under, if it goes over. If I bet the dog, I mean, I can't get the coin flip right in the MAC.
It does feel like that. I'm not gonna lie.
I hate that conference.
It's so tough.
Just pissed.
No, I've done it. I've put money on a Tuesday night game just to have something on the line on Tuesday, and every time it feels like I made the dumbest bet I've ever made in my entire life.
Yep.
I mean, last year I think I bet Toledo to score points in the first half. They got shut out. The next week I bet the under. They scored like 38 points in the first quarter. I mean, that's how it goes. It's just up and down. And it's a standalone game, so it gets magnified so much. And I'm done. I'm ranting. Sorry.
That's what we're here for, man. All right, we'll go ahead and go to UVFC.
I'm going with Toledo. I think Miami is also really good. I think these two feel like they're kind of in a league of their own here. But Miami lost Rashad Amos. That dude was unbelievable last year. I mean, he quite literally carried them through the end of the season when Gabbert got hurt. He just ran all over people. And they won't have him to do that this year, so I'm going with Toledo.
All right, and how about you, Pace?
I'll be honest, I don't really know much about this conference. I bet it, but I'm right there with Action. I lose every bet I make on it. So I'll tail you guys, and I'll just listen to you guys. So that's all I got. Rocky Lombardi, does he still play at like Miami of Ohio or some shit?
That's perfect, because I was just gonna say, even though Rocky Lombardi's not there for the next 12 months, I'll just go with Northern Illinois. I don't know why. It just seemed like the most consistent program in this conference.
Love it. Shout out to DeKalb.
I'll go Northern Illinois. It just seems like every other year they're in the conference championship game at least. So I'll go with that, and I'll watch them win 2 games this year. I don't know. But yeah, I'll go with the Huskies. And no, Rocky Lombardi's not there anymore, unfortunately. It's a sad day.
Okay. Did he finally graduate, or where is he at now?
I think he graduated. I don't think he has any
Did he?
eligibility left. I think he's
I
as
think
old.
he's, I think he's starting for the Broncos this year, probably.
Thanks.
He probably could. Just kidding. Our sweet Prince Bo
Dude.
next.
He plays for the Bengals. Hell yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, that's what it says here.
He's
I'm sure.
battling-
For another week. When's the final cuts Monday?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, poor Rocky.
See you, brother.
He's battling
Yeah.
with Logan Woodside, who's been there for like somehow 7 years. I have no idea how Logan Woodside is still on the roster, but shout out to Toledo, I think. So
Hell yeah. Get out the Mac.
All right. We'll get to now. This one is actually, well, this and Sun Belt. Those are my two favorite group of fives. But we'll get to the Mountain West. Again, I'll read them in order from betting favorite to the worst odds. But we got Boise.
You only need to read one, Corey, but
Yeah, I mean Boise State's at -110. This is the second conference we've come across now where the betting favorite is juiced. We got Boise State, Fresno State, UNLV, Air Force, Colorado State, Wyoming, San Diego State, Utah State, San Jose State, Hawaii, Nevada, and New Mexico. Oh, second conference without any changes either. I already know what Pace is going to say. I'll start it off because I'll let you give all the points why. I'm going to go with you. It's Boise State. This is Boise State's conference to lose. Boise State should be back on track. I think that they're going to win the Mountain West this year. No, I'll go ahead and go to you, Pace.
yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of tickets on them, starting with I think I have them to make the playoff. Let me see the odds on that. Yeah, plus 750 to make the playoff. I like that. So again, I know the 5-star isn't starting. Nelson, they're gonna go Maddox. Madsen, again, just a great football name. I tweeted out a picture of him yesterday, and B-Russ said he looked like Amy Schumer, which is 100% right. Just like the long blonde hair. So again, both 10s. I do know that is a fact, but I think it's Boise State. Again, I'm probably a lot biased, but even just like watching there, I don't know if you guys watch like preseason training camp videos of like college football teams. Like those are so fun to watch. But coach said it too. It's just a different year. It just feels like a different year. Feels like, the 2010s era of football. So I wish they were going to go with the 5-star because I do think Nelson's really, really good. But I don't know. Maddox Madsen, baby. Get to know that name.
love it.
We'll see him on national TV week 2.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go to you, VFC.
Let me double check. Yep, nope, Boise State. That's what I have here. So nothing to it. It's just like Liberty. Nothing.
All right, action.
I obviously love Boise State because, once again, I'll be taking the points at Oregon week 2. Sleeper team here, though, I do want to mention Colorado State. Don't sleep on this team. They actually may have a really good quarterback. And guess who they don't play in the regular season in this conference? That'd be Boise State. They avoid Boise State. And Jay Norvell, keep in mind, third year at Colorado State, love third-year coaches, and we know how good of a job he did at Nevada. So I think Colorado State, if there's a sleeper, and it sounds like Pace likes to bet those bets to make a conference championship game, I would be really liking Colorado State.
Pace, do you have the odds on that? I'd be curious.
Yeah. Colorado State plus 400.
Wow. I mean, I don't dislike that at all. I don't know.
No.
Thomas was saying last night too on the draft show. He said there was 2 guys that like were talking from Colorado State that they got offered like $650,000 to go play for some other school, and they were both like, no, because we're here at Colorado State to win championships. And Thomas was like, I don't know what championships you're gonna win at Colorado State, but I love this attitude, and he took them, and so yeah, I like this. I can definitely get down with that to make the championship bet.
Oh, my mind.
Plus, don't they have like one of the top like 2 or 3 wide receivers in the nation too? That Horton kid.
Yeah, it was that guy, him and some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the same guy?
Dude's a stud in
Didn't he
college football 25.
No, it was a Stanford kid. The posterized Travis Hunter. He
No, I think that was the Colorado State kid.
I think
Colorado
it was
State
too,
has Torrey Horton, first team all conference receiver. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's the kid that absolutely destroyed Travis Hunter? That like lit him up.
Him and the Stanford kid, I think both did.
Okay. Yeah, that's safety. I think that safety though from Colorado State like crushed him.
Oh, yeah.
Put his ribs or whatever in that game. So, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I like that bet a lot. Great call out action.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Guys, can you Venmo me some money because I don't think I'm going to be able to afford all the bets I'm putting in tonight.
Dude,
I'm in
that's
trouble.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm gonna end up going the pace route and gonna have to split up a bunch of plays on just to make conference championship games. I'm liking some of these a lot, actually, way too much. All
I don't
right.
know. It's a fun bet that like, yeah, you have to get there. You don't have to win it, but like you just have to get there. And there's some pretty, juicy odds. So I kind of like it.
All right, last group of five conference, and then we'll transition to the games being played this weekend. We got the Sun Belt, the Fun Belt. This one is actually my favorite group of five conference. I don't know. This one just does something for me. But we'll go ahead and read the teams betting favorite to the least likely. We got App State, Texas State, Louisiana, James Madison, South Alabama, Troy, Arkansas State, Marshall, Coastal Carolina, Georgia Southern, Old Dominion, Southern Miss, Georgia State, and ULM, Monroe. On this one, we'll go ahead and start with you, VFC.
I like Texas State. I think they're going to be a lot of fun this year. Um, I I don't know. To me, when I was looking through this list, I was like, do we have a clear cut winner? They open up the season at Lamar or home against Lamar. I can't even imagine what the score of that game is going to be. I don't know if you guys know how bad Lamar is at football. But yeah, they got that, I think, James Madison quarterback in. Yep. They've got their running back back. They're returning just about everyone on offense. Their defense is not good. Again, this is similar to like who was I saying earlier? Was it North Texas maybe? Just not that great, but at the same time, you never know. In this conference, maybe all you need is an explosive offense. Nobody can keep up with you kind of thing. Um, they're really good, and their schedule is not too bad. So they get a lot of the tougher games at home. So we'll see, but Texas State is my pick.
All right, and we'll go pace. We'll go with you next.
Yeah, I do fear that's the right pick because that JMU kid is like a baller. A McCord, I think his name is, or something like that. So I think he threw like 30 plus touchdowns last year and like 10 picks.
Yeah.
Dude's a stud, but I took JMU plus 750. I know they lost like a lot of their team, but I do like their coach coming from Holy Cross FCS squad. And yeah, apparently I've been listening to some press conferences of his, and he says they got a young team, but like they got guys that love to fly around defensively. So I think if you can play a little bit of defense in this conference, I think you can do all right. You should win some ball games here. So I'm going to go JMU at plus 750.
Yep. Last, if they didn't lose, the losses you talked about, James Madison, I think would have easily been my play. I'm gonna go. I mean, App State at plus 275. That's nice because they're the team that seems to be the most consistent at the top of this league year in, year out. I'm going to go with Louisiana, though. I think roster-wise, talent-wise, this is just a side that typically top to bottom and depth-wise puts together a really good roster, and they're always doing a very good job of competing for this conference. And at plus 600, I really like that value. This one's more about consistency as a program with the value. I'm going with the value on this one. Go ahead and go over to you, Action.
I'll go with VFC. Give me Texas State.
Action and I are dialed in today.
Yeah, you guys.
We shared notes. I was going to go Georgia Southern just to bring up the fact they beat a Big Ten team a couple of years ago. Can't remember the name of the school, but I won't go there.
How do I mute you?
You should be asking how you boot his ass. Yeah, there you go.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It ultimately led down the path that got us Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola, so I'm good with it. All right. So that is that wraps up the conference previews. There's a lot to go over. It seems like every year this first week is kind of a long-winded one, just because we got so many conferences and so many teams to go through and look at. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at these. We got four games this weekend. College football does start this weekend. We got college football every Saturday all the way till 2020 or 2025 now. So we made it. This is finally the week where we get to say we made it. We made it, boys.
Sir.
I'll go ahead and list off the names we got this weekend, and then we'll just go around and everybody just needs to make one play. We just got to get a play out for this weekend. We got Florida State versus Georgia Tech. That's the game over in Dublin. We'll see if anybody does a surprise onside kick or not. We got Montana State versus New Mexico, SMU versus Nevada, and Delaware State versus Hawaii. Is there anybody that just wants to volunteer to go first? No?
Okay. Give me the favorites. Give me the favorites.
Give me the favorites. All right, I'll do you one better. I'm hoping VFC says something about SMU on this one, but I'm gonna jump down to that Delaware State versus Hawaii game. Hawaii is 10-2 against the spread in their opening games for the last 12 years, and they're minus 39 against Delaware State, but it's an 11 p.m. kickoff, 11 p.m. Central Time for an East Coast school out in Hawaii who missed the plane today. So if that game gets played, jet lag is going to be a factor. They're going to be real sleepy. I'll take Hawaii minus 39.
Is that line out yet?
Yeah, it's right here. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
Minus 39 or
okay.
39-point favorites at minus 110.
Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and go over to you, Action.
Steam has been going away from me for as much as I talked about the SMU future. I liked it this morning at 16.5. It's dropped to 14.5. I like Nevada in the first half to keep it interesting against SMU. You have the coaching change at Nevada. The new head coach used to win a ton of games at Montana State, then went to Texas as the defensive coordinator. There's a lot of excitement. There's a few people that chirp in my ear from Nevada. They think they have a fighter shot in this football game. That's apparently how good they've been looking. So I think that energy and the excitement of a new head coach there, they keep this one at least interesting in the first half. So officially I can only grab the 14.5, but it was 16.5 about 6 hours ago.
Noted. I like it.
And I love making first half bets in college football.
So fun.
It's so fun.
First half unders, dude. I love it. Give me first half unders all day long. You just got to find the right matchups. I love it.
The best is actually when you get an Iowa versus a Michigan, and you can bet first half team total under 0.5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
So they're scoring a point in the first half.
I think
Thomas does that a lot and parlays them.
They're fun.
Oh, they are. I think I did multiple Iowa games last year where it was first half under 9.5 points total for the whole game. It's great.
Didn't you do over 13.5 punts a game too for Iowa or no?
Hey.
All right, VFC, what do you got for this weekend?
I'm actually going to go away from pace a little bit here. Georgia Tech, this line is tanking fast, so get it before it gets under 10 is my expert advice. It can be, it was at 11.5 this morning. I think it's at 10.5 now, depending on where you get it. But no, I just think Georgia Tech, they got a lot to prove. It's a big season. Their fans are kind of crazy. I could see a lot of them heading out there. Florida State, on the other hand, they're very good. I think they're gonna be good. I think they'll win this game. But I do think it's gonna be somewhat close. I don't think Florida State really has that much to prove in week 0 against Georgia Tech in Ireland. I don't think they're coming out here trying to punch Georgia Tech in the mouth. So I'm expecting maybe just a bit of a slower game, a bit back and forth. Georgia Tech keeps it close, and that's my favorite play for the weekend.
All right. What do you got, Pace?
So I do like the under in the SMU Nevada game, 56. I like the under there. I think for some reason that's just going to be a grinded out game. Action says some good things about Nevada. So I just think if they can give SMU a little bit of fits, I think 56. I actually see 56.5 here now, but I like the under on that one. And then I don't know. Florida State to win by just 2 touchdowns. That shouldn't be that hard, right? So I don't know. It's week freaking 0, man. Like I'm excited to bet it, but like I also don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? I just think Florida State's very, very solid. Georgia Tech's probably not lower tier of that conference there. So to win by 2 touchdowns doesn't seem terrible to me. That seems like a football score, 28-14 or something.
Yeah.
Real quickly, anyone have anything they love on the Montana State New Mexico game? I don't know. This one's super interesting to me. Obviously, the line is kind of zipping out towards Montana State more and more. I think it's up to like 11.5 now. This feels, I get it. Montana State's really good pace. Maybe you have the best insight into the Montana State situation. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's FBS, FCS. New Mexico, they're not good, but they're not. I don't know that they're 11.5 points worse than Montana State. What are you guys' thoughts?
I mean, Montana is the 4th ranked team in the FCS, so like they're no slouch in their league either.
For sure.
So yeah, I like that. I like it.
Really, really
yeah.
good. I just don't know. 11 giving 11.5 points to New Mexico just feels like a lot. So I don't know what you guys thought.
Well, I'll just tell you where I go. I go to Sam Herder, who always makes the picks on FBS stuff, and he has Montana State winning this game 35-17. Makes some good logic there. So I won't go against him. Seeing that much steam of a touchdown, I get it, but there's some really strong arguments that this could be a beatdown. Bronco first game, you expect him to obviously have a little excitement there, but I just don't think he has the horses at New Mexico and Montana. I think and we talked about how good South Dakota State is this year, but I think the national champion easily could come out of the state of Montana. You got 2 good football programs there. Montana State's going to be tough out this year.
Gotcha.
They scored like damn near 40 points a game last year. So
yeah, I knew the Montana.
As you would say, VFC, get to know Tommy Malloy.
No, I appreciate all this. Is there anything else about week 1 or any? I mean, we covered a lot in this episode. I don't think I have anything else. What do you guys think?
I might just because it's fun and in college football it's back. Just like sprinkle every underdog on the money line, just like a little bit, just because why not? So it's week 0. Who knows what'll happen?
Oh, dude, I think you do that for this weekend and next weekend.
I agree. I just don't know if I have the cash flow for next weekend, with all those games. So now the bets I added to my sheet here.
So I fumbled it pretty bad in the beginning. It is the Fanatics College Football Betting Show. This was episode 1, and we will see you guys again next week.